which the White House claims will target dangerous criminals. But unlike President Obama's orders, you don't have to be convicted of any crime. It's now up to immigration agents to decide who they feel poses a risk to public safety or national security. It seems, you know, because when we talk about Obama, you know, they always say he's deported more people,
3 million,
based on their, you know, their criminal records, and that seemed to work. You know, he caught a lot of hell for it, but that's what he felt he needed to do.
Right. Yeah.
So if that was working well,
yeah,
why are we creating chaos?
Because that's what he promised his voters.
What, chaos?
Yeah, basically.
I think the catch here is, on what you're saying, is what I heard him campaigning on over and over was, it's not going to be a mass deportation. We're talking about violent criminals, and that's what he kept saying. And I remember one time at this table, I said, I could get on board with that. Like, people that have created, like,
felonies.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Felonies, violent crimes. Everyone can agree on that.
Yeah.
And then someone said, but where does the line of the crime, where is it drawn?
Yeah.
And that was like a foreshadowing. Because now what I'm hearing is there's a lot of gray area.
Traffic violation.
Yeah. And it's all gray area. And because there's no specificity, it leaves it up to each person to interpret that, which is giving a lot of power and deputization to local law enforcement.
Well, he's going to hire 10,000 agents to enforce this, which then he will say is a job creation program. Just watch. Watch. He'll say, you see, I created 10,000 jobs. Just watch that happen.
I think to Whoopi's point, you're absolutely right. I mean, they used to call President Obama the deporter-in-chief because he got rid of more undocumented immigrants that had committed crime than any other president in history.
That's a debatable fact, though, you know, because
I don't think it's debatable.
No, it is. It is because
Customs and Border Protection.
I'll tell you why, though, because they use numbers regarding the catch and release program with people they actually find right on the border, not people that have actually entered the country and tried to. That's debatable that he's been the biggest deporter.
This says between 2009 and 2015, his administration removed more than 2.5 million people through immigration orders. This does not include those who were turned away at the border.
Yeah.
That's what this... This is... Well, not whatever. I mean, listen, you know, all we can do is work with what we got. And so this is what we have. And to me, there was a lot of people, he took a lot of heat for this. And he turned away a lot of people. He turned away violent, undocumented people from all countries.
Yeah, for me...
That's a little different than what seems to be happening here.
For me, I think the concern by many people is there are huge sectors of the border that everybody knows are completely unsecured. And Donald Trump vowed... border with Mexico that are completely unsecured. And Donald Trump vowed to many people that he would amp up border security. And if you look at polling, a Harvard-Harris poll just came out and said 75% support the directive to increase the Border Patrol. 80% of Americans say local authorities need to comply with the law by reporting to federal agents the illegal immigrants they come into contact with. I think there are a lot of people around this country of all ethnicities who did the process legally, and they follow the law, and they're really unhappy with people who don't follow the law and seek and get a benefit from it.
Can I just point something out?
There are families involved here, so one might have followed the law, the next one
Can I just say that his Donald Trump's procedure leaves in protections for dreamers, which are children of undocumented immigrants, and their parents. Those protections are built into his system.
So here's what I find interesting about your argument. When he did the first sweeping act, he didn't really care about people who had green cards and who went through the process and did it all legally.
That was bad.
Yeah, it was bad. So I'm just saying, you know, there are lots of things we could be doing, but is he destroying what's been done simply because Obama did it, or because he actually believes that Obama didn't get what was happening when he is called by immigration people as the deporter-in-chief? I think this sowing of chaos and making people uncomfortable was unnecessary, because he could do what he wants to do. There are places that could be secured, but you know, he did this earlier with folks coming from outside. When they talk about the 5 countries, you know, he said, listen, I'm not going to ban it, I'm going to tighten it up. So why not start from a place that actually does what you say you're going to do, as opposed to and then everybody's like, what the hell?
And the thing is, and I actually, you know, And Jen and I have discussed this, and I agree. We're a nation of laws. And so if you come here and you've done it illegally and you're committing crime, then certainly you should be deported. And that's what President Obama did. But when you're talking about people that come here undocumented, they're fleeing a country because they're in trouble. They're fleeing repression. Those people that have children, why would you break up families? And he isn't protecting those people.
He's not breaking up those families.
He is not protecting those people. If you look, have you looked at his new immigration guidelines?
I did.
Because he has not. He's making it more difficult for asylum seekers. Immigrants could be sent to Mexico first and then and formally deported later. Unaccompanied minors are not protected. Unauthorized immigrants are now priorities for deportation. I haven't seen anywhere in those guidelines that he's protecting the dreamers.
I think what he's going after are sanctuary cities. I think he's going after. I think he's seeking to provide compensation to families who have been victimized by undocumented immigrants.
Let's hold up, because this is an interesting conversation. We're going to come right back to it.